The rain pounded against the windshield like a relentless accusation, blurring the neon lights of downtown Seattle into a watery haze. Bastian huddled in the back seat of his battered old Honda, his breath fogging the windows as he scrolled through his phone, desperately searching for a job listing that didn't require a stable address. At 23, he never imagined homelessness would be his reality, but coming out to his conservative parents had turned his world upside down, leaving him with nothing but the clothes on his back and this rusty car as his home. It had started innocently enough, or so Bastian thought. Growing up in a small suburb outside the city, he'd always known he was different. The crushes on boys in high school, the way he'd avert his eyes in the locker room, it all made sense when he finally admitted to himself he was gay. But his parents, devout churchgoers with deep roots in a community that viewed anything outside the norm as a sin, reacted with fury. "You're not our son anymore," his father had bellowed, slamming the door behind him as Bastian stood on the porch, backpack in hand. That was 6 months ago. Since then, he'd bounced between friends' couches until their patience wore thin, eventually landing in this parking lot behind a strip mall, where the security lights offered a false sense of safety. Bastian's phone buzzed, jolting him from his thoughts. It was a text from Jamie, the guy he'd met at the community center's LGBTQ support group. "Hey, you okay? Haven't heard from you since last week." Jamie was a bright spot in the darkness. A 25-year-old barista with kind eyes and a laugh that made Bastian's heart skip. They'd been seeing each other casually, sharing stories of their struggles over cheap coffee. But Bastian hadn't told Jamie about living in his car. The shame was too heavy. He typed back quickly, "Yeah, just busy. Meet up tomorrow?" As he hit send, headlights swept across his car, and his uncle's sleek Mercedes pulled up beside him. Uncle Richard, the family success story, a tech mogul who'd made millions in Silicon Valley before retiring to Seattle. What was he doing here? Richard stepped out, umbrella in hand, his face etched with concern under the street lamp. "Bastian, is that you?" he called, peering through the rain-streaked window. Bastian froze, his mind racing. How had Richard found him? The last time they'd spoken was at a family gathering years ago, where Richard had been the distant, wealthy relative who sent generous checks but kept his personal life private. Bastian cracked the door open. "Uncle Rich? What are you? How did you know I was here?" Richard sighed, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "Your mom called me, said you'd left home, but she didn't say why. I hired a private investigator, don't be mad. I was worried." He glanced at the cluttered interior, the sleeping bag and fast food wrappers telling a story Bastian wished he could hide. "Living in your car? Bastian, this isn't right. Come with me. We'll figure this out." Reluctance warred with desperation in Bastian's chest. He barely knew Richard, but the offer of a warm bed was tempting. "It's complicated," Bastian muttered, avoiding his uncle's gaze. Richard nodded. "I get it. Family can be tough. But you're not alone anymore." As Bastian grabbed his backpack and followed Richard to the Mercedes, he wondered if this was a lifeline or just another complication. The drive to Richard's waterfront mansion was silent at first, the wipers swishing rhythmically. Richard broke the ice. "So, what happened with your parents? They wouldn't tell me details." Bastian hesitated, then decided to test the waters. "I came out to them, told them I'm gay." He braced for rejection, but Richard's expression softened. "Ah, that explains a lot. Well, you're in good company, kid. I'm gay too." Bastian's jaw dropped. Uncle Richard? The man who'd never married? Who dodged questions about his personal life at family events? You're serious?" Richard chuckled wryly. "Yep. Kept it hidden for years to avoid the drama. Built my empire, stayed in the closet. But seeing you like this, it hits home." Arriving at the house, a sprawling modern estate with views of Puget Sound, Richard showed Bastian to a guest room. "Stay as long as you need. No strings. Over dinner, real food, not drive-through scraps." Richard shared his story. He'd grown up with Bastian's father, enduring the same rigid upbringing. "I left home young, made my own way, never looked back." Bastian felt a connection budding, but doubts lingered. What if his parents found out? Would this pit uncle against brother? The next day, Bastian met Jamie at a cozy cafe. "You look better," Jamie said, smiling as he handed over a latte. Bastian confessed about the car, the coming out, and now Richard's intervention. Jamie's eyes widened. "That's amazing. But be careful. Family stuff can get messy." Their conversation deepened, hands brushing across the table, a spark igniting. For the first time in months, Bastian felt hope. But back at the mansion, tension brewed. Richard's phone rang constantly. Calls from Bastian's parents demanding to know where he was. "He's safe with me," Richard told them firmly. "And if you can't accept him for who he is, that's on you." Bastian overheard the arguments, his father's voice booming through the speaker. "You're enabling his lifestyle. It's against everything we believe." Richard hung up, face flushed. "They'll come around. Or they won't. But you deserve better." As days turned to weeks, Bastian settled in, applying for jobs with Richard's help. He and Jamie grew closer, sharing quiet evenings watching the sunset. Yet whispers of conflict emerged. Richard, sensing Bastian's budding romance, offered advice. "Love is rare. Hold on to it." But when Jamie visited, Richard's questions felt probing, almost protective. Bastian wondered if his uncle's own loneliness was surfacing. One evening, Richard dropped a bombshell. "I've been thinking. I want to set up a trust fund for you. Help you get on your feet." Bastian was stunned. "That's too much." Richard waved it off. "Nonsense. Your family, the only one who gets me." But the offer stirred unease. What would his parents say? Would it fracture the family further? The trust fund news spread like wildfire through the family grapevine. Bastian's mother called Richard in tears, pleading for him to reconsider. "You're rewarding his choices," she sobbed. "It's like you're choosing him over us." Richard remained unmoved. "I'm choosing love over hate, sis. If you can't see that, maybe we need space." Bastian, eavesdropping from the hallway, felt a pang of guilt. Was he worth this rift? Meanwhile, his relationship with Jamie blossomed. They spent weekends exploring Seattle, Pike Place Market's bustling crowds, ferry rides across the Sound. Jamie shared his own past. Kicked out at 18, he'd worked his way through community college, now dreaming of opening his own cafe. "You've got a safety net now," Jamie said one afternoon, as they sat on a bench overlooking the water. "Use it wisely." Bastian nodded, but inside, doubts festered. Was he relying too much on Richard? And what if Jamie resented the sudden wealth? Richard, ever the mentor, encouraged Bastian's independence. He connected him with a job at a tech startup, entry-level but promising. "Start small, build up," Richard advised. Bastian thrived, his confidence growing. But social conflicts loomed. At a family reunion Bastian's parents insisted on, tensions exploded. His father cornered Richard in the backyard. "You're turning him against us with your money." Richard shot back. "No, you're the one who threw him out like trash because he's gay. Own it." Bastian watched from afar, heart aching. Jamie, whom he'd brought for support, squeezed his hand. "This is tough, but you're strong." Later, in the car ride home, Jamie voiced concerns. "Your uncle's great, but is he trying to control things? That trust fund. It's a lot." Bastian defended Richard. "He's just helping." But the seed of doubt was planted. As months passed, Richard's health began to falter. Subtle at first, a cough here, fatigue there. He brushed it off as stress from family drama. Bastian noticed, urging him to see a doctor. "I'm fine," Richard insisted. But one night, he collapsed in the living room. Rushed to the hospital, tests revealed stage 3 lung cancer. "Smoked in my youth," Richard admitted weakly from his bed. "Stupid mistake." The diagnosis shattered Bastian. Jamie was there, holding him as he cried. "We'll get through this," Jamie whispered. Richard, ever pragmatic, updated his will. "Everything to you, Bastian. The house, the investments. You're my heir." Bastian protested. "What about the rest of the family?" Richard's eyes hardened. "They disowned you. Why should they benefit?" Word leaked and chaos ensued. Bastian's parents sued, claiming undue influence. "He's manipulating our son," they argued in court documents. The media caught wind. A wealthy gay man's fortune going to his estranged gay nephew. Headlines screamed controversy. Family feud over gay inheritance. Protests from conservative groups picketed Richard's home, decrying it as promoting the gay agenda. Bastian felt torn. He loved Richard, appreciated the support, but the inheritance felt like a burden. "Is this right?" he asked Jamie during a heated discussion. Jamie, whose own family had cut him off, sympathized but cautioned. "Money changes people. Make sure it's what you want." Richard's condition worsened, chemotherapy draining him. Bastian balanced work, visits, and his relationship. One evening, Richard confided, "I regret hiding who I was for so long. Don't make my mistakes." Bastian nodded, vowing to live openly. But the lawsuit intensified. In court, Bastian's father testified, "Richard's always been the black sheep. Now he's corrupting Bastian." Richard's lawyer countered with evidence of the parents' rejection. Bastian took the stand, voice steady. "Uncle Rich saved me when no one else would. This isn't about money. It's about acceptance." The judge ruled in Richard's favor, but the victory was bittersweet. Family ties severed, Bastian questioned his choices. Jamie stood by him, their bond strengthening amid the storm. "We're in this together," Jamie said, pulling Bastian close. As Richard's health declined, he planned a quiet gathering. Just Bastian, Jamie, and a few friends. "Celebrate life," he urged. Laughter mixed with tears, stories shared. Richard pulled Bastian aside. "Promise me you'll fight for what's right, even if it's controversial." The courtroom battles faded, but the emotional scars lingered. Richard's cancer progressed, confining him to home care. Bastian quit his job to be full-time caregiver, a decision that sparked debate with Jamie. "You need your own life," Jamie argued over dinner. "He has nurses." Bastian snapped back. "He's family, the only one who accepted me." The tension highlighted cracks in their relationship, amplified by the looming inheritance. Social media erupted with opinions. Progressive voices hailed Richard as a hero for supporting his gay nephew, while conservatives labeled it nepotism fueled by deviant lifestyles. Bastian received hate mail, accusations of greed. "You're profiting off your uncle's illness," one letter read. He confided in Jamie, who suggested therapy. "This is messing with your head." Richard, sensing the strain, encouraged Bastian to reconnect with his parents. "Hate festers if you let it," Bastian reluctantly called, but the conversation devolved into blame. "If you just stayed in the closet," his mother said. Bastian hung up, furious. "They'll never change." Jamie's patience wore thin. During a walk in the park, he confronted Bastian. "I'm happy for you, but this inheritance, it's changing you. You're obsessed with the family drama." Bastian defended himself. "It's not the money, it's the principle." Their argument escalated, voices raised. "Maybe we need space," Jamie said, storming off. Alone, Bastian reflected on his journey, from card-welling outcast to heir apparent. Richard's influence had been transformative, but at what cost? He visited Richard, who looked frail but spirited. "Trouble with Jamie?" Richard asked intuitively. Bastian nodded. "Relationships test us," Richard said, "but true love weathers it." Inspired, Bastian reached out to Jamie, apologizing. They reconciled over coffee, vowing to communicate better. "Let's build our future, not dwell on the past," Jamie suggested. Bastian agreed, but the inheritance loomed like a shadow. Richard's final weeks were poignant. He dictated memoirs, sharing untold stories of his closeted life. Lost loves, hidden pains. "I envied your courage in coming out young," he told Bastian. "Use my legacy to help others." Bastian promised, envisioning a foundation for LGBTQ youth. The end came peacefully, Richard slipping away in his sleep. Bastian was devastated, Jamie his rock. The funeral drew crowds, supporters and detractors alike. Bastian's parents attended, stiff and silent. In his eulogy, Bastian spoke of Richard's generosity. He taught me that family is chosen, not born. Post-funeral, the will's execution ignited fresh controversy. Richard had left stipulations. Bastian must use part of the fortune for LGBTQ advocacy, including funding shelters for homeless queer youth. Conservative family members cried foul, filing appeals. It's indoctrination, his father ranted in interviews. Bastian, now wealthy, faced choices. He and Jamie moved into the mansion, but luxury felt hollow. We could sell it, start fresh, Jamie proposed. Bastian considered, but Richard's wishes anchored him. He launched the foundation, naming it after his uncle. Initial events drew praise, but backlash followed, protests at fundraisers, online trolls accusing him of buying acceptance. Personal conflicts arose. Jamie's friends questioned the relationship. Is he with you for the money now? One joked, but it stung. Bastian reassured Jamie, but insecurities crept in. During a gala, a reporter cornered Bastian. Did your uncle's actions divide your family irreparably? Bastian paused. Sometimes, standing up for what's right means tough choices. As the foundation grew, Bastian encountered stories like his own. Teens kicked out for being gay, surviving on streets. It fueled his resolve, but exhausted him. Jamie suggested a break, a vacation. We need us time. They escaped to Hawaii, reconnecting amid beaches and sunsets. This is what matters, Bastian said, kissing Jamie. Back home, a surprise. Bastian's mother reached out. I miss you, she wrote. A tentative meeting followed, tears shed. We were wrong, she admitted. His father remained distant, but it was progress. Yet not all was resolved. The appeals dragged on, draining resources. Bastian wondered if Richard's bold move had truly changed everything for the better. With the foundation thriving, Bastian became a public figure, interviews, panels, advocating for LGBTQ rights. But fame brought scrutiny. Tabloids speculated on his relationship with Jamie, heir's boyfriend, true love, or gold digger? Jamie laughed it off at first, but the constant doubt eroded his confidence. Do you trust me? He asked one night, as they lay in bed. Of course, Bastian replied, but a sliver of uncertainty lingered. The inheritance had altered dynamics. Friends treated him differently. Family remnants eyed him warily. His cousin, once close, accused him of selfishness. Uncle Rich should have split it evenly, Bastian countered. He chose me because you all rejected me. Social conflicts peaked at a national conference. Bastian spoke on homelessness among queer youth, sharing his story. Protesters outside chanted slurs, waving signs. God hates your agenda. Inside, supporters applauded, but the divide was stark. Jamie, attending for support, whispered, "This is dangerous. Is it worth it?" Bastian pondered that question. Richard's legacy pushed him forward, but personal tolls mounted. Health issues arose, stress-induced anxiety, sleepless nights. Therapy helped, but Jamie bore the brunt. I love you, but this life, it's overwhelming, Jamie confessed during a hike. Bastian promised change. We'll scale back. But fate intervened. A major donor pulled out, citing the controversy. Too political, they said. Bastian rallied, securing new funding, but it highlighted vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, his parents' reconciliation faltered. His father, influenced by church peers, retracted support. We can't condone this foundation. Heartbroken, Bastian leaned on Jamie. Their relationship, tested by fire, deepened. They discussed marriage, a future together. Let's do it, Bastian said impulsively. Jamie smiled. When things calm proved elusive. A leaked document revealed Richard had been in a long-term relationship before his death. A partner who'd passed years earlier, unnamed in the will. Speculation swirled. Was Bastian truly the rightful heir? Family lawyers pounced, claiming fraud. In court again, Bastian testified about Richard's intentions. He wanted to make a difference. Evidence supported him, letters, recordings. The judge dismissed the claims, but reputational damage lingered. Online forums debated, Is inheritance based on sexuality fair? Bastian grappled with ethics. Had Richard's decision been just or vengeful? He confided in a mentor from the Foundation. Your uncle broke cycles. That's powerful. Inspired, Bastian expanded programs, partnering with national orgs. Personally, he and Jamie navigated ups and downs. A weekend getaway rekindled romance, dinners, walks, honest talks. We're stronger now, Jamie said. Bastian agreed, proposing under stars. Marry me? Jamie accepted, tears flowing. Wedding planning amid chaos was surreal. They opted for intimate friends, Foundation staff, even Bastian's mother. His father declined, a painful absence. Vows exchanged. Rings slipped on. They danced into the night. This is our happy ending, Bastian whispered. But life twisted again. Post-honeymoon, a scandal erupted. A former employee accused the Foundation of mismanagement. Investigations cleared Bastian, but trust eroded. Donors wavered, programs suffered. Jamie urged resilience. Richard believed in you. Reflecting, Bastian wrote a book, his memoir, detailing the journey. It became a bestseller, sparking discussions on family, acceptance, inheritance. Reviews polarized, inspiring versus divisive. As years passed, the Foundation stabilized, impacting thousands. Bastian and Jamie adopted a child, building their family. Yet, echoes of conflict remained. At a reunion, Bastian's father appeared, aged and remorseful. I was wrong, he admitted. Forgiveness came slowly, but it came. Looking back, Bastian marveled at the transformation, from car to legacy. Richard's action had indeed changed everything, but the path was fraught with debate. The years following the wedding brought a semblance of peace, though the undercurrents of controversy never fully subsided. Bastian's foundation grew into a national beacon for LGBTQ support, funding scholarships, shelters, and advocacy campaigns. Success stories poured in. Young people like him, rescued from the streets, thriving because of Richard's legacy. Yet, critics persisted, arguing that prioritizing queer issues over general homelessness was discriminatory. Why not help everyone? A pundit questioned on TV. Bastian responded in op-eds. Because targeted aid addresses systemic biases. Jamie's cafe dream materialized, backed by Bastian's resources. They balanced careers and home life. Their adopted son, Ethan, bringing joy. But parenting ignited fresh debates. Conservative outlets decried gay parents raising kids in luxury. Bastian and Jamie shielded Ethan, focusing on love. Family is what we make it, Bastian told him during bedtime stories. Old wounds reopened when Bastian's father suffered a stroke. Hospital visits forced confrontations. I regret everything, his father whispered. Bastian forgave, but boundaries remained. His mother, now an ally, volunteered at the foundation. Richard was right, she said. Professionally, Bastian faced ethical dilemmas. A partnership with a corporation drew flack for their past anti-gay policies. Hypocrite, protesters shouted. Bastian defended. Change comes from within. Jamie supported but privately worried. Don't lose yourself. The pivotal moment came at a TED Talk. Bastian shared Richard's story, the car, the inheritance. One act of kindness can ripple into revolution, he said. The audience stood, but online backlash was fierce. Privileged narrative ignores real struggles. Personal growth continued. Therapy helped Bastian process trauma, strengthening his marriage. Vacations became rituals, tore away from spotlight. Just us, Jamie insisted. As Ethan grew, questions arose. Why did Grandpa kick you out? Bastian explained gently. Fear of differences. It sparked family discussions, fostering empathy. The Foundation's 10-year anniversary gala was triumphant. Speeches honored Richard. Beneficiaries shared testimonies. Yet, a surprise guest, Bastian's cousin, apologized. I was jealous, wrong? Reconciliation bloomed. Reflecting on the journey, Bastian pondered the core choice. Richard's decision to favor him had sparked division but also progress. Lives changed, minds opened. But was the cost justified? In quiet moments, Bastian wondered if alternate paths existed. Without the inheritance, would he have reconciled sooner, or remained broken? The story of that rainy night, the Mercedes pulling up, evolved into legend. Bastian's book inspired a film, amplifying the message. Debates raged. Inheritance as justice or revenge? Ultimately, Bastian embraced the complexity. Change isn't clean, he told Jamie. They watched Ethan play, a symbol of hope. But one question lingered, inviting reflection. Was the uncle's decision to disinherit the rest of the family and leave everything to his gay nephew ultimately the right choice? Or did it perpetuate unnecessary division?